Welcome back, everyone, from another dominant performance by Incursion Network. That was surprising to you, CCB Dolan, but me and Fozzie were right on the.
Well, I say it was surprising to me. I do have ISN circled on my paper, even though I said parental advisory, so I'm going to count that one as a correct guess for me. Yep.
Nah, you won't get away with that.
One thing I think we can all agree on is that even if we expected ISN to take that match, they took it, I think, a lot more convincingly than anyone expected. That was the second very solid setup in a row. I've been very impressed with actually both of their two setups in this weekend. And I'm really excited to see what they're going to bring out next, because it's probably going to be something completely different again.
Yeah, for me, that was largely due to Krator in the Oneros. He was just dishing out those reps perfectly. He was catching people immediately as they started taking damage, and
well, so that's one part of it, but the fact that he was doing it under so much damp pressure, like a Maulus, a Heron, Ishtar damps in the mids, like he would have been under a tremendous amount of damp pressure. I don't know if there was some damps going places they shouldn't have been, somebody didn't turn on their damps or something like that, but from what I could see, he would have to be right on top of people to lock them.
For most of that time, he was the only one with the damp icon on him on that team. So looks like they had it all focused on him, and I was watching him move around. He did a great job of moving to keep himself within range of his team. He was often looping around the Navy Dominix, because he knew that Dominix was going to be a very dangerous place to be anywhere near. The Domi had newts. We were seeing newt effect coming from it, and it also has a lot of blaster damage at close range. So he could not get anywhere close to it, but he also needed to stay close to his team. So he was often actually maneuvering around the Dominix and looping to the other side of it to keep up with his team. And then when they'd cross the Dominix again, he'd do the same thing again, always keeping an eye on where the other team was. It was very good piloting.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. And they also flew an armor setup. We were talking about them being a shield incursion runners, but apparently, once you have the logistics skills down, then you can do it armor or shield. Yeah,
I've been hearing actually a little bit about these ISN guys. From what I've heard, they also actually have a fair bit of PvP experience as well. So they like to make money from incursions, but then they also have a good amount of PvP experience. A lot of them are former members or current members of Nulli Secunda, so they've got some 0-0 experience as well. So these are a pretty well-rounded group of pilots, I think.
Yeah, especially because Incursion Network, being a incursion group, there's been a little bit of drama competition between incursion groups recently, so maybe they have to muscle some other incursion groups out, show a little swagger here, and maybe intimidate some groups here.
I mean, definitely we have 3 incursion teams in this tournament, and ISN has won 2 in a row, and the other 2 both lost their first matches. So this is a pretty impressive showing.
Best incursion group. I didn't say it, but I heard some other people tweeting it at me in private, not a public tweet. Yep.
So on to the next match. That's a big one. Asina Thomas team versus We Hurt. So the bans for that match are a Dominix and Ishtar for Asina Thomas team, and a Basilisk Scimitar for We Hurt. So.
The Dominix Ishtar bans, I think we're going to see a lot of that kind of thing. That's basically banning out the most powerful drone setups. Obviously, we just saw there when teams try to get around that by moving to a Navy Dominix, it just doesn't do the job. No. It's quite possible the parental advisory had actually planned a setup that had a Dominix in it, and then when ISN banned out the Domi, they had to switch to a Navy Domi, which would have both reduced the effectiveness of that ship, but also cost extra points that they had to take out of their other ships.
Yep. So, and also the ban on the Ishtar, a lot of the alternative that comes to mind for me is the Gila, going with a Gila team, but with both Basilisk and Scimitar already banned out, you're going to have a rough day going Gilas.
Yeah, I mean, so that's a really interesting set of bans from We Hurt. We haven't been seeing a lot of it this tournament yet, but we've been seeing this in previous tournaments when teams ban out both of the 2 logistics for a single type of repping. In this case, they're banning out both of the 2 shield Tech 2 logistics. It can mean a lot of things. It could mean that they're trying to push the other side into armor. Perhaps they want to deal explosive damage. Perhaps they want to outrange their opponents and looking to have a slower enemy. It could also mean that they want to bring their own shield setup, but want to throw the other guys off the scent of it. You can bring Tech 1 logistics. You could bring the Waji Frigs. There's a lot of, or you could bring like a Tengu or Loki as a Tech 3 repair. And so there's a lot of options there, but definitely it pushes most shield setups out of viability.
I don't think we're going to see any Tengus or Lokis in the new Enough.
You don't need to use Tinkers for them. But, I mean, like, you can have a non-Tinker Tech 3 team. But
I struggle to think what that would look like. I'm not quite sure. Maybe hide the logistics, a game like that, bring a couple Lokis or something like that, but I don't know.
So is there any team comp that relies on buffer tank when it comes to shields?
I mean, usually in the tournament format, you'll see teams rely on a combination of buffer tank and then ASBs. So usually, if you're going without a logistics, you're relying on ASBs, which are kind of, in a way, a middle ground between buffer and active tanking. For anyone not familiar with it, an ancillary shield booster is a shield booster that is much more powerful and doesn't use capacitor compared to a normal shield booster. But what it does use is charges that get used up as it cycles and has to be reloaded. And when it reloads, it's 1 minute of not being usable at all. So you're very vulnerable in that period. Essentially, it can be used to extend the life of your ship a lot. And if you combine it with a good amount of buffer, then you might be able to survive long enough to actually get that reload finished, which is a huge win in a tournament.
Well, you know, it's not a real tournament until someone brings a Drake.
Yes.
That's when a tournament becomes real, and we officially mark it down as when the first Drake shows up. We haven't seen one yet.
We have seen Nighthawk, so the Tech 2 Drake. But
You're selling the Nighthawk up the water. The Nighthawk is a little bit more elite PvP than a Drake. The Drake is like, I need to run this Sanctum, and I need to do it when I'm a 3-month-old character. Let me
there's a lot of things you can do great with the Drake. It's also great if you just want to, fight every single day in massive fleet battles and not care about all your losses.
That works too. I prefer a Prophecy for that, though.
Yes, Prophecies, since they've been buffed, are really good for that role.
Yeah, but we're still waiting on a Drake. Maybe We Heard just going to bring all Drakes.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what We Heard does. I mean, they surprised me, beating Footwork. I think they're obviously a huge fan favorite team. This is a group of streamers and members of the You Heard Corp. They've been streaming their practices. They're streaming themselves, playing. All 8 members of their team are live streaming their actual competition. So it's really great to see that kind of content generation.
And there's actually a site that is called Multi-Stream or something along those lines where you can watch all the streams at the same time.
And then you can add our stream too and have 9.
Yeah, you can just have all the streams. And that actually will fit well on your screen, like 3 rows of 3. Yeah. It's quite, otherwise, you
That's
just have
actually
a black
why
spot.
we planned for 8 people in this tournament.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all part of the plan, But I wouldn't call them fan favorites to win this match. They're up against the Cena Thomas team, the champions from the last New England Open.
They're not necessarily fan favorites to win,
but everyone
they
loves
have
them.
A lot of hype.
I love a Cena Thomas team.
Yeah, Cena Thomas team is a very popular team.
Do you know what I love? Do you know what I love?
Winners. Yeah, okay.
I have no space in my heart for losers.
Both of these teams are winners. At the moment, they're both 100%.
They have both won.
As much, I think We Heard definitely riding a pretty big hype train right now. There's a lot of excitement around them.
Cena Thomas never lost a match last Neo, right?
I don't think they did.
So essentially,
didn't they lose? I thought they lost one of their matches in a series.
Oh yeah, I don't think that. Yes, yeah.
If that happened, then We Heard has a higher win percentage than Cena Thomas.
You're the person I hate using statistics more than any in the world right now.
So I'm going to go over a couple of tweets here. null-sec.com just tweeted out fixed pilot pages and a few bugs for null-sec.com/NEOII, which is a really nice site.
A really amazing
website. It's a
website.
really good site. You can go there and you can check out some replays, you can check out team profiles and so on. So definitely give that a visit.
I actually constantly have it running just beneath the desk here, just in this area here, and that's how it's the only reason I'm any good at commentating. Some people might dispute that I'm good at commentating, but I owe what I have to null-sec.com.
Yeah, I mean, that website, it's using our public crest exposure, so it's we have a system that allows all the information to be picked up by any third-party dev. It's completely made by players, and what they have there is you have recaps of every match, you have what ships each team fielded, you have the full bracket, updating live, and you also have 3D match viewers, so you can actually rotate the match and zoom in on different ships and see where they all moved. It's a really, really great resource for that.
Yeah, definitely. And the match is ready, but I'm just going to go quickly over one thing first. There are 2 places where you can bet on these matches. It's eve-bet.com and then also goimba.com. So check those guys out and throw a bet on your favorite team.
And if there's any place that we haven't found to bet, where you're, for instance, running a private betting scheme or something like that, make sure to tweet us or hashtag NEO2 to let us know, and we'll start pimping your service as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So teams are on field. Let's get your predictions, CCP Fozzie.
I'm going to go with the Cena Thomas team based on their really strong performances before. Though actually looking at the setups, I kind of want to change my mind. But I'm going to stick with the sheet.
No cheater moves, my friend. I'm going to go with the Cena Thomas team as well.
I really need to go with my heart on this one, and I'm going to say We Heard. Let's see how it goes.